Hello students, good morning. Today we are going to discuss a very famous play, Arms and the Man by George Bernard Shaw. George Bernard Shaw was born on 26 July 1856 and he died on 2nd November 1950. He was an Irish author. He got Nobel Prize in 1925. Today we are going to discuss Arms and the Man. This play is a comedy written by George Bernard Shaw, as we already know. Its title comes from the opening words of Virgil's Aeneid, a very famous ancient writer. This play was first produced on 21st April 1894 at the Avenue Theatre and published in 1898 as a part of Shaw's play Pleasant volume. As we know that Bernard Shaw wrote two kinds of volume, play pleasant and play unpleasant. This play was one of Shaw's first commercial success. It is a humorous play that shows the futility of war and deals comically with the hypocrisies of human nature. This play takes place during the year 1885 when Serbo-Bulgarian war was continuing. Now we move towards its summary. The play unfolds in Bulgaria in 1885 towards the end of Serbo-Bulgarian war. Rena Petkov, heroine of this play, and her mother Catherine have received news that Rena's fiancé Sergius led a victorious cavalry charge against Serbian forces. Lauka, the household maid, enters to announce that the windows must be locked as fleeing Serbian troops are being hunted down in the streets. Later that night, a Serbian officer climbs the drain pipe outside Rena's balcony and breaks into her room. Bulgarian soldiers arrive asking to inspect the room, and Rena, overwhelmed by a moment of compassion, hides the enemy soldier behind her curtains. Lauka is the only one who sees through the deception, but she only smirks. Here, smirk means banauti ढंग से शर्माना and leaves in silence. Once safe, the soldier comes out from the hiding and explains he is a Swiss mercenary for the Serbian army. Here I want to tell you, mercenary means the person who fights only for his wages. We can say it in Hindi, किराए का सैनिक. He explains he is a Swiss mercenary for the Serbian army. He admits to Rena that he does not carry cartridges for his gun, only chocolates, as these are more practical for a starving soldier. Thinking him childish, Rena offers the soldier some chocolate creams, which he devours hungrily. He explains that the cavalry charge led by Rena's fiancé Sergius was only successful as a result of dumb luck. Angered, Rena finally demands he leave, yet the Swiss mercenary claims to be too exhausted to move. Feeling pity, Rena agrees to shelter him and runs to find her mother. When the two women return, the chocolate cream soldier, as Rena calls him, has fallen asleep in her bed. The second act begins with Nicola. Who is Nicola? An older servant lecturing his fiancée Lauka on appropriate conduct toward their employers. As they speak, Major Petkov, Rena's father, returns from the front. He announces that the war has ended with a peace treaty, upsetting his wife Catherine, who believes Bulgaria should have annexed Serbia. Here, annexed means to capture. Shortly afterward, Rena's fiancé Sergius arrives. The once idealistic man has grown cynical, resigning from the military and complaining about the lack of honor and bravery among professional soldiers. He recounts an anecdote. Anecdote means a short story. He recounts an anecdote about a fleeing Swiss mercenary escaping into the bedroom of a fascinated Bulgarian woman, alarming Rena and Catherine. Once alone, Rena and Sergius speak of their love for each other in reverential and somewhat ridiculous tones. As soon as Rena leaves to get her hat, Sergius embraces Lauka and complains about how exhausting his relationship with his fiancée is. Lauka claims not to understand the hypocrisy of the upper class, saying that both Sergius and Rena pretend to love each other while flirting with other people. Demanding to know whom Rena has been seeing, Sergius grabs Lauka and bruises her arm. Here, the word bruise means खरोंच आना और चोट लगना. Lauka asks that he kiss it in a apology, but Sergius refuses just as Rena enters the garden. As the couple prepares to leave for a walk, Catherine calls Sergius to the library to help Major Petkov arrange some troop movements. Catherine and Rena discuss the significance of Sergius, telling the anecdote about the escaping mercenary to her mother's chagrin. Here, the word chagrin means तंग करना या चिढ़ाना. Rena expresses a desire for Sergius to learn of her part in the story, wishing to shock his fox propriety. Here, the word fox means syntheticate, or we can say kratrim, not genuine or real. And the word propriety means appropriate behavior. In Hindi, we can say Maryada or Sishtachar. As Rena exits, Lauka enters and announces that a Swiss officer is at the door. Captain Bluntschli, the chocolate cream soldier, has come to return the coat that was used to smuggle him out of the house. As Catherine attempts to send him away, Major Petkov recognizes him from the peace negotiations, greets him warmly, and asks him to help coordinate Bulgarian troop movements. Rena sees him in the hallway and gasps that it is the chocolate cream soldier. Thinking quickly, she explains to her mother and fiance that she made a chocolate cream decoration in the shape of a soldier, but that Nicola has clumsily crushed it. Later that afternoon, Captain Bluntschli makes short work of administrative tasks. Major Petkov wonders about the fate of his old lost coat. At Catherine's request, Nicola fetches the coat that had previously disappeared, astounding the Major. Here, the word astounding means to surprise. The Major, Sergius, and Catherine leave to implement Bluntschli's orders. Leaving the captain alone with Rena, Rena begins posturing. Here, the word posture means दिखावा करना, complaining how morally wounded she is by having to lie for him. The captain sees through her act and confronts her. He is the first person to see her pretentious behavior for what it is. Rena admits to behaving theatrically and suspects Bluntschli must despise her. Despise means to hate, नफरत करना, घृणा करना. On the contrary, Bluntschli is charmed by her posturing but cannot take it seriously. Suddenly, Bluntschli receives a telegram informing him of his father's death and his large inheritance. Rena and Bluntschli exit as Lauka, and then Sergius enter. Sergius inspects Lauka's arm and offers to kiss her bruise, but is rejected. Lauka questions his notions of bravery, arguing that anyone may be brave in battle, but few are able to stand up to social expectations. She asks Sergius if he would marry if he would marry someone below his station for love. Sergius claims he would, but uses his engagement to Rena as an excuse. Hurt, Lauka teases him with the knowledge that Bluntschli is Rena's true love. Sergius challenges Bluntschli to a duel. Rena enters and argues with Sergius, announcing that she saw him embracing Lauka. Bluntschli explains to Sergius that Rena only let him remain in her room at gunpoint. Somewhat deflated, Sergius withdraws from the duel. When Bluntschli suggests that Lauka join the conversation, Sergius leaves to look for her, only to find her eavesdropping. Eavesdropping means छिपकर सुनना. In the hallway. Having understood that something is awry, Major Paul Petkov enters and demands to know who the chocolate cream soldier is. Bluntschli admits that it is he. Rena explains that she is no longer engaged to Sergius as he loves Lauka. Sergius kisses Lauka's hand, committing herself to marry her. Lauka's original fiancé Nicola gracefully bows out. Bluntschli follows Sergius. Sergius led and asked for Rena's hand. The captain's new inheritance, a successful chain of hotels, persuades Major Paul Petkov to agree to the marriage. Bluntschli leaves to take care of his father's estate. with promises to return in a fortnight. Now we will move towards the character sketch. First, we will discuss Rena Petkov, who is heroine of this play. Rena, a young woman from an upper class Bulgarian family, begins the play clinging to romantic delusions about both war and love, worshipping her fiancé Sergius' brave feats in war and cherishing the pure love they share. She self consciously attempts to live up to these romantic ideals. Catherine reveals that she always listens outside doors, waiting for the most dramatic moment to enter. Yet, Rena has doubts about the realism of the notions that she and Sergius share. She also shows significant compassion, cringing at the cruelty of hunting down fleeing troops and ultimately saving Bluntschli's life. By the end of the work, Rena has, with Bluntschli's prompting, abandoned her romantic posturing and embraced a more pragmatic means Vyavarik viewpoint. The play ends with her engagement to the practical Bluntschli. Now we move towards the character sketch of Bluntschli. Bluntschli, a Swiss mercenary who clambers through Rena's bedroom window as he flees Bulgarian troops, best represents the qualities prompted by the play realism and pragmatism. Bluntschli is unconcerned with romantic ideas about heroism or conduct in war. He is concerned with professional conduct, efficiency, and survival. Yet, Bluntschli has a romantic heart and returns to see Rena, whom he has become taken with. Taken with means attracted. During his visit, he learns to his father's death, resulting in his inheritance of a large sum of money. Eventually, Bluntschli overcomes Rena's posturing and asks for her hand in marriage, using his newly inherited wealth to win Major Petkov's approval. Sergius. Sergius is Rena's somewhat foolish fiance. Believing in the romantic ideals championed by poetry and opera, Sergius leads a doomed cavalry charge and is saved only by dumb luck. His ignorance of the science of warfare makes him an inept officer. He struggles to coordinate troops' movement and must appeal to Bluntschli for help. Despite grandly proclaiming his love for Rena, he finds their relationship exhausting. He flirts heavily with Rena's more practical maid Lauka, whom he feels at ease with. In the end, Sergius demonstrates craze and embraces his true feelings and asks Lauka for her hand in marriage. Lauka. Lauka, the Petkov's beautiful and somewhat insolent maid, has trouble accepting her place in the household, engaged to Nicola, an older servant who often lectures her on her inappropriate conduct. Lauka resents her socio-economic position, though initially shocked by his flirtatious behavior. Lauka engages with Sergius, both teasing and confronting him about the gap between his ideals and conduct. She declares her love for Sergius, unembarrassed by their difference in social standing. At the end of the play, Sergius proposes to her and they are engaged. Catherine, Rena's mother. Rena's mother, Catherine, shares many of her daughter's illusions about love and warfare, as well as her class pretensions. Catherine feels the need to wear Viennese clothing and imitate Western customs, installing an electrical electric bell in the library when she learns Western Europeans do not shout for their servants. Despite her illusions, she proves competent and businesslike, securing the house during the aftermath means results of the battle and even helping Major Petkov instill discipline in his troops. She proves a more pragmatic counterbalance to the bumbling Major Petkov. Rena's father, Major Paul Petkov, cuts a ridiculous figure. Like Sergius, Major Petkov is unable to coordinate basic troop movement and relies on Bluntschli to do his work for him. He is the butt of several of the play's more farcical jokes, serving as comic relief. He represents the opposite of competency. In one scene, he asks his wife to accompany him to inspect his troops, as she will prove more intimidating than he. Here, the word intimidating means in Hindi we can say भयभीत करना और धमकाना than he. The last one is Nicola. Nicola serves the Petkov's family and he is engaged to Lauka at the outset of the play. A very practical man, Nicola understands and embraces his social position. He dreams of opening a store and approaches his goal in a pragmatic way. He worries that Lauka does not understand how to be a good servant, repeatedly lecturing her. When Lauka and Sergius' relationship comes to light, he gracefully withdraws his engagement to Lauka, claiming she would be better as a new store customer than as a wife. Toward the end of the play, Bluntschli announces his intentions to hire Nicola to help run one of his inherited hotels. Thank you.